Good morning. Hi. This is R.N. Bhaskar from BKBB, which is an acronym for Bhaskar Ki Business Baatein. This is the channel that brings to you every week a policy analysis, an occasional story, business story, and an occasional conversation. But at this time in the morning, at 8:15 sharp, we come to you with our daily news analysis. We pick up a few headlines and then we talk about them, and that is why I like to call this program as News Behind the News. And today is the first day of a new week. Have a lovely week ahead. The titles are important. The world is in turmoil. Last night, the Houthis showed Israel that they could bomb Ben Gurion Airport. Israel, which 10 years ago was impregnable, now suddenly looks shaky. In April last year, Iran went in and bombed Nevatim airport and blasted all the F-35s there and the communication center. The Western media didn't talk about it, nor did Indian media. And this time, it went and bombed Ben Gurion airport. Effectively, Israel has begun to realize it's vulnerable. And at the same time, India is facing a huge crisis because of the disaster where tourists got killed. And there are cries of war everywhere. We thought India was safe. We thought war was confined to Ukraine and maybe Israel and a possibility of Taiwan. Now it's come to our doorsteps. And today's stories talk about all these three things. Let me first tell you the three titles that we're talking about. The three titles are, will India be missing at the Russia meet? It's a very important story. We'll explain why. And then the next one is some sobering, some worrying numbers in the US and China. And the third one is input costs have increased for Indian industry. All the three stories are related. All the three stories are important. Let's go to the first story. Almost a year ago, Russia announced that it would be celebrating the anniversary of its victory in the Second World War. The dates are finalized. They were fixed at 8th of May, and the function will begin from 7th to the 9th. All heads of state will be coming. Modi initially said that he would be coming. Then there were reports that he would not be coming, and this was before the tourist massacre. There was a change in atmosphere taking place even before the tensions between India and Pakistan. Later, the Prime Minister's office said that because of the crisis in Kashmir, he would not be going. He deputed Rajnath Singh. Now, Rajnath Singh has said he too will not be going, and maybe a junior minister will go. We do not know whether India will be present or not present. This is important for several reasons. One, India, Russia, and China were the original members of the BRICS. India, Russia, China have a huge potential to change the world in terms of economics, in terms of wealth generation. And when India goes missing at such a crucial meet, the signs are not good. Some people say that because Xi Jinping was the chief guest, Modi was not very happy and felt left out. Some people say that Modi decided not to go because he would annoy USA. Increasingly, Modi's concern about USA is more important than any other concern. And there's a third reason, which is the official reason. It's because of the terrorist attack that Modi is not going. Whatever be the real reasons, his absence will be sorely felt, especially at such an important public meeting. And that brings me to another point. Please remember that at this time, the Middle East has another development where OPEC has decided to increase its production so that renegade members, including the USA, if they increase the production, Saudi Arabia will not be left behind. It will increase production so that it remains a price controller. Expect tensions to rise between the US and Saudi in the coming months and years. But there's a third reason why this is important. In 2019, not reported most media, but the Hindu reported it. Xi Jinping made a proposal that India, China, and Pakistan should be a zone of peace. India did not respond. And because we have not worked towards a zone of peace, effectively, you have these skirmishes along our borders, which is not good for India, which is not good for Pakistan, certainly, and it's not good for anyone in the world. Will it escalate? Will it escalate into a nuclear war? Nobody knows. There are mad thoughts going here and there. Pakistan has a nuclear power. It has what people call the Islamic bomb, which Israel does not like. It has made several attempts in the past to bomb Pakistan so that its nuclear facilities are destroyed completely. That hasn't happened. Will this escalate into a polarized war once again? I don't know, but I want peace to come in immediately. War is in nobody's interest. It will destroy much more than just India and Pakistan. And that takes me to the second story. And the second story talks about numbers. It talks about how in the US, let's take the US numbers first. In the US, inflation is rampant, partly because China, its ships have been slapped with an additional tariff. Anything coming to the US will become more expensive. Already the biggest superstores in the US have increased prices, and some of the prices are 300% above the current levels. Consumers are going to be hurt very badly. But the US is not the only one to get hurt. China will also get hurt. Look at the numbers here. These numbers, which are from South China Morning Post, tell you that at least 16 million jobs in China 16 million jobs in China could get affected because of the US tariffs. China will have to work on new strategies to make sure that can create employment, and China will find a way, maybe by increasing domestic consumption. Look at the number of the way a very interesting number is look at the number of sites that China has for making satellites. It has 58, larger than anyone in the world. China wants to make sure that it controls land, it controls waves, it controls communications, and the entire IT spectrum. But on the other hand, look at USA. Look at the charts on Bloomberg. They'll tell you that the two most worrisome numbers are unemployment and inflation. Payrolls did not increase as much as was expected. There's a dampness in the market, and the dampness could get worse. It'll give someone a cold, it'll give someone a fever, and there could be casualties, severe casualties. And then let's go to the third story. The third story is about India's problems. Thanks to Trump's tariffs, thanks to the fact that industrial production is shrinking. When production shrinks, you don't have economies of scale, so costs go up. All input costs for India's industry are going up. They came down, and now they're going up again. One thought that the costs would be under control, but Trump's tariffs and the slowdown in consumption have both contributed enormously to an increase in costs. The worst affected are commodities. What's the first line? Which is agriculture. Agricultural input costs are going up because the government's policies in agriculture have not been very healthy for the farmers. There's farm distress around. Look at the suicides in Maharashtra. They're climbing. They've not gone down, notwithstanding all the wonderful schemes the government talks about. And if Trump is allowed to send agriculture goods into India, expect the crisis for farmers to increase enormously. Please remember that 50% of India's population is a farming community. This 50% could get into big trouble and could have major impact on the political scenario. When such troubles happen, when employment does not take place, when prices go up and farms are in distress, expect violence also. Expect more polarization between communities. Not a pleasant thing for India to be in, and with war, with a lot of rattling of war cries. The situation is getting a little jittery, a little frightening. And that, in a way, finishes my questions, my statements for today. And I'm waiting for the questions to come in from our viewers. As always, we wait for questions from our viewers. And while they're coming, while I look at the questions, just a reminder, please click the subscribe button if you're not subscribed already. Click the like button. It helps our algorithms. And the third, which is very crucial, please inform everyone about this channel, because we talk about things that many people don't talk about. And now let me take the first question that comes up. Where do you think the US crisis will end? Well, nobody knows where it'll end. But please remember, two of the biggest promises of Trump, that he would stop the war in Ukraine within 10 days, is not coming true. He waffles. One day he rails against Zelensky. Next day becomes friends. Next day rails again. There's no predictability. The war is likely to continue. Look at Israel. I'll settle it very soon. Instead, he's allowed the massacre of more Palestinians without stating anything. He is too scared to say anything to Israel. The Israeli lobby has tied him down. And Israel, with impunity, keeps on killing people. Now, where does this end? I don't know. Israel wants him to go to war against Iran. Trump doesn't want that war. So will Pakistan be the excuse next time? I don't know. But there are very clear signals that trouble is in the offing. And please remember that Pakistan is crucial to both Iran on the one hand and China on the other. China has a highway right from China to Gabadar, so you can get oil directly without going round the Malacca Straits. So it won't be easy. There will be more polarization. And India should be careful not to become another Ukraine. An Indian politician should not become another Zelensky. Okay, there is a second question which is interesting. The question is, where do you think investment should be made in an uncertain world? Well, I would suggest you behave like Mobius, Mark Mobius, who keeps 95% of his money in cash. He says investments are not worth anywhere. The one investment that seems safe right now is possibly gold, but one can't predict the prices tomorrow. The world is jittery. Be careful with the investments. Diversify, but don't trust any one sector to give you returns. These are turbulent times. These are unpredictable times. And finally, there's one more question. The US can contain inflation if you forget tariffs. With tariffs, you're going to have product inflation. And with the return of the migrants, not allowing migrants to come in, you're going to have labor inflation. When you have double doses of inflation, don't expect inflation to come down to the US. And yes, one more thing. Please remember that with production falling in the US, China's cancelled its orders of Boeing. Your Nvidia is in trouble because it's not been allowed to sell to China, which accounts for almost 70% of its market. Intel is in trouble because America did not allow it to sell, and China is a big market for it. The leaders in American industry are in trouble thanks to this decision. Inflation is going to keep on climbing. Production is going to slow down, and we do not know what is going to happen when US and China they meet next week. US and Canada they meet next week to see how tensions between USA and Canada can be reduced. Because Canada is belligerent. The new head Carney has made it clear that he will not tolerate any muscle flexing by USA. Suddenly, USA has more enemies, even friends have turned enemies. Europe is against him. Let's see what happens. But that brings me to the end of today's show. Thank you for watching. I've exceeded the time, but yes, have a wonderful week ahead and have a great day today. See you tomorrow morning. I look forward to discussing more news with you. Take care. Good luck. Goodbye.